Moving into our last morning speaker, our last keynote for the morning. This individual, he's got a tough job. He's got a tough job because he's the guy who's taken over a company that's responsible for a lot of these companies moving the data to these platforms, right? And so Niagara, of course, is the platform that the BAS industry uses more often than not. It's and the Tridium group is based out of Richmond, Virginia, even though they're owned by Honeywell. And what's made Tridium special all these years is their ability to keep their culture, keep the innovation, the spirit of the industry alive. And Honeywell's done a good job of letting them do it. Well, this guy showed up and they told me he was a Honeywell guy. Oh my God. And then he's from Philly. A Honeywell guy from Philly? Really? So I was like, oh, well, there we go. Here comes Honeywell. But I got to say, this is Andy D'Amelio. He's done a fantastic job of learning the culture at Tridium, helping us all grow as an industry. And now, with the advancements they're making in Niagara 5, they're going to make it easier than ever for us to enable cloud connectivity, AI, all of that with the building. So I'll bring up Andy D'Amelio with Tridium. Come on up, Andy.
Thank you, Scott. Much appreciated. Look, only a Philly guy could keep Honeywell out of Tridium.
There you go.
Who are you going to put in the role? Well, hey, I'm happy to be up here. Not used to going last, so what more can be said? I don't know. We'll have to find some new things to talk about. But thank you, Scott and the Cochrane team. Great event, great presentations this morning. I really enjoyed Jim's as well, and I think he kind of set the tone and the stage. My name's Andy D'Amelio. I'm the president of Tridium. I joined Tridium about 2 years ago. Yes, I've been with Honeywell for quite a long time. Done multiple things within Honeywell and pretty much have been in controls and automation my whole career, but never in the built environment. So this is the first for me. I've been typically on the process side or the warehousing side. So the last 2 years at Tridium learning the built environment. So I'll take some time this morning just to give you my perspectives on the market, a little bit about the Niagara technology, where we are today, where we're going, and then wrap up in about 20 minutes. Okay, and so if you take a look at this slide, this is a representation of the market landscape. So if you go across the slide, 2025 is the first bar, and then 2029 is the last bar. And if you look at the section on the top, which is the dark blue section, that's maintenance and remote services. And many of you have a maintenance franchise that you own and that you run. And we've been talking about remote services pretty much the whole morning, and I'm sure we'll continue throughout today and tomorrow there. So the good news is that's the biggest part of the market today. It's also the part that's growing the fastest. So now, if you look at, well, what is the market? If you look at this slide, so the yellow is retrofits, and blue is new construction. And the yellow is actually bigger than the blue. And so retrofits seem to be taking over. And in fact, by 2030, the retrofit market's going to double. And I think we know that because typically you see more dumpsters than cranes, right? So I think the retrofit space is probably where many of us spend a lot of our time. And so we have a market that's growing. We have a segment of the market in maintenance and remote connectivity that's growing. We have retrofits, which is bigger than the new part of the market. And then we have all these disparate systems all over the place. And so what are some key market drivers? And I think about it really with 4 key drivers. And these drivers are not independent of each other. They're actually connected. So if you start on the top right, I call that the ecosystem experience. And it's really not the occupant experience anymore. It's the ecosystem experience. So from the building owner to the integrator to the occupant, and how that's all connected, and what everybody wants to see through that experience. If you keep going clockwise, that's the digital transformation, which again, I think every presentation talked about that, the blending of the IT and the OT worlds, and we've been doing that for a while, but it's getting a little more complicated now. A little more complicated. Next, if you continue to go around, is operational efficiency. So I don't think it's a secret that labor is hard to get in general, and labor in this space is hard to get because a lot of our youth is not so interested in coming into this space. And we're all working hard to change that. We're all trying to come out with new training programs and work with the trade schools and the universities. But still today, maybe for many of you, finding qualified labor is still a big deal. And last is sustainability. I think that several spoke about that. Look, we all want to be good stewards of the environment, right? No matter what we believe in or how much we think about it. In general, people want to be good stewards of the environment. And most big companies have mandates where they need to be good stewards of the environment. And then somebody actually talked about, I think it might have been Mike, that talked about specifically here in Colorado, there's a lot of legislature where you have to be able to report back on that. So that's not going away anytime soon. So when you think of these market factors, you think of a growing market, you think of retrofits being bigger than new buildings, and you say, well, geez, what do I need to do well in that kind of environment? This is Stephen Hollickey's slide, in case you guys don't recognize it. And so, I'm more like the motivational speaker guy, and Stephen's more the technical speaker. But Stephen's spending some time with his dad the end of this week and through the weekend. So I'm going to try and cover both. So what do you want in your solution, right, to handle what's going on in the market today? What do you want? Well, number one, it has to be human or person-centric. Right? So we talked about all these new technologies, but there's still people that are using, coding, creating the solutions. And so that's first and foremost. You need a solution that can change rapidly because we just talked about the rate of change in this industry. Even though many of us have said it's a slow change in industry, that's not where we are today. This industry, even in just the 2 years I've been doing this industry has changed quite a bit. Open, I think everybody talked about the need for open and why that makes the most sense. And security or secure by default. And so when I think of that, for me, Niagara is right there. Now I'm a little biased because I'm leading Tridium, but I think many of you in the room have embraced Niagara, not for a year or 5 years or a decade, for maybe a couple decades now. And so Scott talked about the culture. That's why I came to Niagara. It's hard to find people that care about the community and their offering and work as hard as the people at Tridium do. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be, and I'm honored to be leading the company. And everybody takes it seriously because today we are the de facto standard within this industry. And I intend to stay that. I intend to stay there. I want to talk to you about some of the advancements that we continue to make. So we've been investing. Since I've been here, we've invested between 25 and 30% more each year in the last 2 years in our innovation and technology. And before I got here, I'm sure we were doing the same thing. And we'll continue to do that. And so it's more than just the software, right? The Niagara Core software. It's that whole Niagara ecosystem. And so what are we doing? So I'll talk to you a bit about what we're doing with the core. I'll talk a bit about Niagara 5. Talk about the cloud, which everybody's been talking about. We've been spending a lot of investment dollars there. Also, BYOC, not BYOB. I'm sure we'll be talking about that tonight. But BYOC, bring your own cloud. And we believe this is the most easy and flexible way to connect you or your client to the cloud. It gives you the highest level of flexibility within the industry. Of course, Niagara Edge, what we're doing with our hardware products, and then connectivity, always staying safe, secure, and efficient. So where are we today? Niagara 415. This is your jump-off point to Niagara 5. So if you want to take your customer down a journey to Niagara 5 and beyond, this is your jump-off point. And so this is our long-term release. And as you work with your clients, get them to 415. And then you can take them to Niagara 5 when you're ready, when they're ready, when the time is right, when the budget's available. This is a good way to plan for the future. Try and get your install base to Niagara 415. We've also upgraded the graphics editor on 415, so it's a little different than what was before. It's better, and there's other enhancements that we made to it as well. But this is today the long-term platform, Niagara 415. So what's next? Let's watch this video.
In the beginning, Niagara R2 brought life to connected systems. Small streams of innovation flowing into a new era. Then came Niagara AX, building momentum, connecting more, flowing faster. Niagara 4 unleashed powerful cascades of capability, transforming industries worldwide. Niagara 5 will stand as a force of nature. Powerful, unstoppable, trusted by thousands. Over 1 million instances worldwide.
So it's here. Niagara 5 is no longer a thought. It's no longer a proposal. It's here. And so I'll go through the schedule kind of at the end of the next couple slides, but let me talk to you about what it is. So we've made several enhancements to it. We have our Vykon booth right in the back. We have many technical experts here. Whatever you want to know about it that I'm not answering because I only have a few minutes up here, please come see us. We have plenty of people here that could talk to you about very specific use cases, enhancements, applications. It's a major leap forward for us. And one of the first places you'll notice that is in the enhanced workbench. It's a bit of a new experience. We believe it's better. We'd like to get your feedback around that. The new user interface is a little different. Look, it's no secret that some of our graphics haven't really been what the community's asked for. And so right now we think we've got it right. So take a look at that. The transformation hasn't stopped there though. We also have a graphics library that's way more powerful than it was before. So just in the visualization section, we think we've made some significant advancements. In the architecture, we're now on Java 25. This sets us up for many, many years to come and sets you up for many years to come. Look, we have no other way to go to market. We don't sell direct. We have no direct business. We have a very small commercial team. We have a very large R&D team. Our job is to enable you, the Niagara community. And you all do a great job with Niagara, and I thank you for that. So everything I talk about up here is how we can make the offering better so that you could serve your clients better, you could provide more value for your companies, more value for your clients. So in the architecture, it's faster, the security is a lot better, and you can innovate more. Because it's faster, you'll be able to innovate more on this platform. Security. So this is a word that's come up many, many, many times. And for Niagara, this is nothing new. And so if Stephen were up here, because I feel him speaking to me, he would say secure by default. And he probably says that 15 times. I'm not going to do that, but I think you get the message. Everything we do is around cybersecurity. We will not release an offering unless we know it's secure. And when you use Niagara, know with confidence that what you've taken from us is secure. And if there's an issue, we have a way to go fix that. So we have a lot of cybersecurity experts every day that work on Niagara. And when you use Niagara, then you have access to those experts too. And so we spend a lot of time and money making sure that the offering is right. So this is a hardened platform now, set and made for the future. And migration. So we talked a little bit about There's a lot more retrofits than new construction, which means migration strategy is critical. And for your top clients, please sit down with them and create a migration plan. Maybe it's a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan, or it's a here and now plan, because what they have can no longer be supported. But we try to give you a technology that's easy to migrate. In fact, we built in a very powerful migration tool that'll help you be more efficient when you migrate your customers forward. This is a smooth path to modernization on your time. You have to decide what's right for your clients. We're making the tools available. You decide what's right for your clients and how you're going to take them forward. Okay, Andy, when can I have it? Good question. So this is one of the slides I updated because that first section said May. So I said, well, wait a minute, we're in May. I changed it to now. So we actually did have our second drop for the developer community and our OEM partners, which presented to you before me. That's already out there. For many of you, the system integrator community, July, will have a version available for you. If you haven't signed up for that, come talk to us about it. We want your feedback. We want your input. It is markedly different than what you have today. And so we'd like you to try it out. We want to hear what you have to say about that. For the building owners in September, and then soon after that will be the general release to everybody. So it's here. The talk is over, and now we're in execution mode. All right, let me talk a little bit about cloud. So Niagara Cloud Suite is what Tridium has brought to market for our cloud experience. And there's several parts to that, so I'll talk a bit about Recover. So Recover provides an up-to-date backup in the cloud in case there's any kind of issue at the site, any catastrophic failure, anything goes down, anything gets corrupted, it's always available to you. It is secure, it is scalable. And with Niagara 5, through this service, you will be able to push updates to the site without having to go on site. So as we develop any type of patches or any security updates, if you want to do it quarterly, if you want to do it sooner, if you want to do it not in that time frame, whatever you agree to with your clients, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to upgrade without having to go on site securely. That's pretty big for us. That's a brand new thing that we're doing, something we haven't been able to do before. And so Niagara Data Service, this is the big data lake that everybody's been talking about. This is the contextualized data, and we have it available. And when we created this offering, we took an API-first approach, right? There's two approaches. There's a code first or an API first. And we went with API first because, again, we're an enabling technology for this community. So the easiest way for you to integrate to something is if it's developed with an API-first structure, and that's how this is, and that was done intentional. So it's there for you. It's the data lake that's ready for you. It has all the contextualized data, so you know you have the data integrity, you know the data is the way you want it. So we have that available today. And so remote, for us, is the easy button, right? I'm sure many of you have already figured out how to do this. You're doing it today. You have a VPN, you have multiple VPNs, you have other methods. Please look into this. There's no VPN. This is a very IT-friendly solution. You don't need a VPN. It's probably the fastest and most secure way to connect. And you do it right through the 443 port. So it's a little different than an approach others have taken, but we think it's right for our community. So now what's the next step in remote? And if we had Jimi Hendrix, Foxy Lady, teed up, we'd probably play that right now, but I forgot to ask you to do that. Unless you want to sing it, Scott, because you've been like pretty...
Foxy Lady.
Perfect. So Foxy is a way to connect station to station securely and remotely. Station to station securely and remotely. So if you have assets on different networks in different buildings, you can connect them through Foxy. Again, a very IT-friendly way to do it. It's on port 443. We're beta testing it right now. This is not a tomorrow thing, it's here right now. Everybody we've shown this to is very excited about the capability and can think of many use cases, many clients today that could take advantage of this. Please talk to us about it. Please get on the list to do some beta testing. I really think that this is the way of the future right here with Foxy. Okay, I do want to talk about hardware before we move forward. So we will be launching the next gen of our remote I/O, Norio, or new Rio, or new remote I/O. I'm not sure why everything Tridium does, you have to be able to do it 3 ways or 5 ways, but we do that. This is a total makeover from the current remote I/O, which was kind of been around for a while, needed a makeover. So no more 15-volt power supply, still has secure boot, software configurable I/O, no dip switches. Come talk to us about this. Please come give this a try. This marries up to all the Jace offerings that are out there on the Vykon or other brands as well. All right, now, finally, how do we get to slide 15 and not talk about AI? That's pretty good, right? Because you know I wanted to say it as soon as I got up here. So Tridium always takes a very pragmatic approach to solving problems, and we want to make sure that what we create has real value for you. And I think well, actually Jim started out with that and said, hey, if you do AI wrong, it could be pretty horrible. If you do it right, it could be pretty fantastic. And there's a whole spectrum in the middle, right? And so today we use AI when we develop our offerings through many of the processes within Tridium, and we're also working on AI tools to release to this community as well. So look, I wanted to educate myself a little more, so I went out and just bought a standard off-the-shelf AI tool, and I said, hey, I'm going to be in front of this audience in the great state of Colorado. So I put that in. So I'm going to be with Cochrane Supply, put that in. I said more specifically, the leadership team from Cochrane, I put that in. And I said, this is a company who always wants to rise above, always wants to succeed, go higher than anybody else. Here's what it spit out. And I said, ooh, that's not really what I want. And I said, in fact, I can't even show that in front of a group of people. But still, so I go back in, and I say, all right, let's try not to make them so scary looking, because they're usually friendly, except Scott, sometimes maybe, but everybody else pretty friendly. And I said, still, the great state of Colorado, but let's have it be a little more tied to the industry that we're in. And then I got this, which I actually do like this a lot better. But it's not quite what I wanted. So then I took the time to pull in the experts. I input my domain knowledge. I input the guardrails, exactly what I'm looking for. I put the right people on it and the right effort behind it. And then I got this, which is exactly what I want. And in fact, you're wearing almost the same thing, which is pretty cool. And so Park Ranger Niagara right there. And we were even able to get my pinky ring put right in there, which is pretty cool. So look, I know there's been a lot of serious talk about AI, and this was a bit of a spoof, but it's a real message. It can be incredibly helpful to this industry. We have to get it right. We have to get it right. And human intervention is critical, and guardrails are critical. So that's everything that we're working on. Last, I just want to leave you with this. And so when I think about where are we going with Niagara in the future, there's not really going to be AX, then 4, then 5. Like, it's just Niagara. So going forward, it's Niagara. And there's not going to be on-prem and then differentiated in the cloud. It's all blending together. Like, those lines have been blurred for years. And if you think of the approach Microsoft took, when you're using Microsoft, you don't know what's in the cloud, you don't know what's on-prem, you don't know what version you're using, you just know it works. And when there's an issue, they fix it. Of course, Tridium, Niagara, we always fix it if there's ever an issue. So I just want you to think about that. Going forward, the way we build the framework is there's no real differentiation between what's on-prem and what's in the cloud, because it's all just made to work together. So with that, I'll go ahead and wrap. I want to thank you for listening to me. I'm sorry Stephen couldn't be here, but hopefully you guys got the message, so thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Andy.
So you're okay with the AI stuff, right? I mean, you're walking around here running from a bear and all, so I figured you wouldn't.
Oh no,
You don't mind that,
it was
right?
good. I thought I looked pretty realistic.
You were awesome.
I don't know if
actually.
that's really Nicole or not. I don't know. You might.
Nicole looked a little. I don't know.
You might be in trouble, Andy. You might want to
Well,
run
that's
out of
why
here.
I quickly went to the cartoon one.
So
You see how fast I put the cartoon?
I did. But
But,
thank you. And
yeah.
quick question: is that a new N for Niagara? Is that a new? Wait. Let's go back.
It is.
Let's go.
It is a new
Can I go
N.
back a slide?
It is a new N.
Uh-oh, look at that. We got a new N.
It's a new N.
That's all it is. It's a new N.
Go back just one more slide.
Jeez.
And there it is. Right there. Right there.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Andy.
yeah.
Great job, buddy.
Thank you.